So the bully's back this episode, and as I was watching it go through, there's a scene where his dad gives him a timeout because he's being himself. And while I was watching it, I just couldn't help but think, this is a fantasy setting. Timeout? What are you talking about? The guy needs to be losing fingers. Isn't there a threat of a guillotine somewhere out in the world? And boy is there. So opening up this episode, we see Shin walking the two main waifus from home to school, and I guess it's implied that he's been doing this for a while, and he's using his magic sense to make sure they're not in any danger. And at this point, I was thinking to myself whether or not I actually missed an episode. What danger is exactly are they afraid to run into? Like, I literally had to double check because they were acting like she was under some sort of witness protection. Like, is the threat the bully guy? The stalker? The blonde-haired tool or whatever? He was just the dude that Shin overpowered almost immediately. But whatever. Oh, and they're wearing God-tier clothing now, so I don't know what real threat there is. But you know what? If Shin wants to be territorial, if he wants to be the jealous type, so much so that he has to, project his magic sense throughout the city just in case anyone makes eyes at them, what is he looking for? Is it ill intent? Is he just like I said, very territorial? Does he know every time anyone looks at those girls? I imagine it's a lot. They're described as attractive, but, whatever. Oh, and our girl Blue totally buys into how creepy he's being because of that. He didn't need to walk them to school. That's just a creep thing. But she's totally buying into it, so, romance. Oh, barf. Oh, and he's shirtless again, at least in the opening, so I must have been wrong. The actual shirtless thing, I know there's more to it, but that's the first thing I see, and it's kind of jarring. And the opening itself isn't bad, but it's very much a skip for me. But I can't skip it if I don't see it starting, and it starts with his shirt off. Also, when they get to school, because he walks them to school now, Og, which I didn't really go into in the last time, is kind of his cousin. He's like a classmate, another blonde kid. They're not really cousins. He's kind of the son of his father's friend who happens to be the king because reasons. So they walk into the classroom and Og is there and is like, hey, I'm going to tease you about being with girls because that's not my character, but it is something that an anime would do. So obviously I have to do it. The rules of anime supersede the rules of good writing. We all know that. I know that. You should know that, Shin. And to be fair, Shin does, because much like the rules of anime, the main character has to be kind of a nitwit, has to be a bit of a doorknob. Like in this one, the guy doesn't know what a study group is. And are you serious? Again, guy, it's in the name. He's like, oh, is it some kind of club? Is it like a group activity? What do you think it is? It's not a club, it's a study group, which I guess, to be fair, has some similarities. I guess they describe it in this school as a way of, specializing in certain fields of magic. If that's what you're into, kids get together. That's kind of cool, I guess. There's a scene where they're talking about the study groups, the not clubs, and Og, since he is royalty, one of his guards is like, oh, I want to join this insert study group name here. And then Og is like, oh, you don't have to protect me here. Okay, Og, cool. Sure, tell that to the guillotine operator if something happens to you. It's his job. You think a security guard or a police officer isn't gonna be in trouble if the person they're paid and honor bound to protect is just hey, you can take the day off, and then something happens to them? No, he's still there for you. He doesn't answer to you, guy. He answers to your dad. Also, Alfred, their teacher, their homeroom teacher, let's not forget, Alfred offers to be their advisor for the study group that they want Shin to start. And of course he's going to be the advisor. There aren't any other teachers at this school. I'm saying he's the homeroom teacher. But everyone is like all up and crazy about Shin starting his own study group. And guys, you don't even know what the study group is going to be about. You don't even know what he's going to do. Also, is everyone in there excited about this? Does no one else just want to go home after school, put in their time? Like, I saw that scene, right? And the entire class was like, yeah, Shin, we'll join you. Yeah, we'll be in your study group. Just a pack of nerds. Yeah, I wasn't much better in high school. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry. Sigh. Anyways, so the name they come up with so far is the Ultimate Magic Study Group. I don't know if that's going to be the name moving forward, but it's definitely kind of implies there's going to be Shin showing them all advanced level magic because demons are becoming more prominent in the world. Wouldn't you know it? They have a whole scene with serious music where they're talking about it. And no one knows what's going on, but all right. Demons are going on in the world. So back to the actual plot of the story. The bully kid, I forget his name. I think it's like Kurt. Yeah, I think it's Kurt with a K. There's a scene where Kurt is talking with his father and like he's talking about how much better he is than everyone because he got in trouble at school and his dad was like, hey, why are you getting in trouble at school? And Kurt is like, I'm better than everyone. And then Big Papa's got the hands. He totally just decks his son. And it was well deserved, right? As I was watching that scene, I was like, this kid needs a slap or two. He really does. And along comes Big Papa with the right hook. But then he just sort of gives him a timeout. Like, again, it's a fantasy world. Take his fingers, bro. You can kind of tell he's becoming demonoid. There's like, he's just getting angrier and angrier. And they kind of like imply that the reason he is the way he is because of this guy, Mr. Strom. I believe Strom. I'm not very good with names, but let's go with obvious villain here. And everyone's like, oh, it's just this guy. And after he met him, Kurt started becoming a jerk. Like, there doesn't need to be a reason for him to be a garbage person. Why can't he just be trash? There aren't bad people in society. There always has to be a reason. But whatever. And then like Og and some of the other classmates are talking to Shin and they talk about how like, oh, we all knew this evil shady guy when we were in middle school and we never befriended him because he seemed pretty shady. And I don't want to hear that from the guy who literally followed some random guy into a magic portal in the last episode. Also, Og is kind of a creep in this episode too. He like several times like kind of checks out the girls in like a very weird, like, oh, I know that you guys are attractive, so every guy should be looking at you. No, that's just you, Og. You're being a creep again. I'm sorry, your character's going down a weird path. Anyways, so they're walking out. Kurt becomes demonoid. They never actually say demon. They say demonoid. I wonder what that's all about. Anyways, he gets super powerful because of it. And at some point he goes Super Saiyan. And then Shin is like, I got this, guys. And they're like, Shin, no. And he's like, I got it. I'm the main character. Also, though, Shin really wants that fight. He's all happy about it going into it. Also, for all the flack I've given the show about being generic, I did enjoy the fight. Even if it was just kind of like zap, dodge. It was pretty cool. Also, he pulls a lightsaber out of nowhere, and it was pretty sweet. I guess Kurt did find that guillotine after all. Also, where are the teachers? The students, his friends, quote unquote, his other classmates get back to him before the teachers do? Come on, guys. And it sets up kind of like where the next episode's gonna be about like Shin having to deal with becoming super famous now. He also, in the history of humanity, there's only been 2 demonoids, and he slayed the second one. We'll see what happens with that moving forward, but in the meantime, he's not very happy about it. So anyways, that was this episode, and it kind of reinforces what I've been saying. There's no way Shin could possibly keep his abilities a secret. There's just no way. I know the school only has 1 teacher, but it's got a myriad of students, all of which have eyes. It's not like he was going to sit there bored and never show off. He even uses too much power on accident sometimes. Well, whatever. He's a celebrity now, so we'll see what happens with that.